Is this connected? Of course it isn't. We're doing 45 to 60 minutes of live side split stretching. We're going to get started right away as soon as I get this earbud connected. And it is not connecting. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. And then let's see how it goes. Hello, 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 hello. Welcome, 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 welcome. I don't know if the audio is any good over on YouTube, but we're gonna go ahead and start. All right. We're doing 45 to 60 minutes of live side split stretching and hip mobility work. We do this every single day to practice consistency, to build a little bit of community, and to make the suffering we're about to do in our stretches a little bit more fun, a little bit more enjoyable, and a little bit easier to stay consistent with. So if you like consistency, you like side splits, make sure to follow along, and let's get started with our first warm-up exercise. First thing we're going to do is called hip cars. What we're going to do is lift our leg up as high as we can and get this high knee high. From here, we're going to open up that leg to the side. We're trying to keep the hips in the same spot. They're not moving. We're trying to open up this leg out nice and wide and keep the leg high. All right. From here, we're going to rotate the leg so that the knee points forward and the ankle is back. I'm going to spin around. You don't have to move. It's going to look like this. Boom. You're aiming for horizontal. All right. From here, we're going to keep going. We're going to bring that knee down. We're going to bring that ankle up. We're going to lift as high as we can. We're going to feel that cramp building in that hamstring. Then we're going to bring the leg down and back. When you bring the leg down and back, I want you to flex your hamstrings. I want you to flex your glutes. I want you to feel that stretch right here in the front in the hip flexor. And that is one rep. We're going to do 10 of these on the left side. We're going to do 10 of these on the right side. And it's time to go. Let's go. High knee. Open. Ankle up. Ankle up some more. Down and back. That's one. High knee. Open. Ankle up. Down and back. That's two. High knee. Open. Ankle up. Down and back. That's three. High knee. Open. Ankle up. Down and back. That's four. High knee. Open. Ankle up. Down and back. That's five. High knee. Open. Ankle up. Down and back. That's six. High knee. Open. Ankle up. Down and back. That's seven. High knee. Open. Ankle up. Down and back. That's eight. High knee. Open. Ankle up. Down and back. That's nine. High knee. Open. Ankle up. Down and back. That's 10. Those are hip cars for one leg. We got three more legs to go. Not that you should have three more legs, but that we're going to do each leg twice. So we've done one. There's a total of four. All right. Let's go. Other hip car, other leg. High knee. Open up that leg. We're trying to keep this leg nice and high while opening it nice and wide. This hip right here is not moving. Okay? It's all coming from this joint right here. Contract those muscles. Lift. Rotate the leg. Bring the knee so that it's pointed towards you. Rotate that ankle up. Rotate it up some more. Rotate it even more. Keep on bringing it up. And bring that leg down and back. That is one rep. When we bring it down and back, it looks a little bit like this. We're flexing the hamstrings, we're flexing the glutes. We're bringing this part of your hip into a stretch. All right? 10 reps. Let's go. High knee. Open. Ankle up. Down and back. That's one. High knee. Open. Ankle up. Down and back. That's two. High knee. Open. Ankle up. Down and back. That's three. High knee. Open. Ankle up. Down and back. That's four. High knee. Open. Ankle up. Down and back. That's five. High knee. Open. Ankle up. Down and back. That's six. High knee. Open. Ankle up. Down and back. That's seven. High knee. Ankle open. Ankle up. Down and back. I feel like I went a little fast for those first seven, so if you need a second to catch up, take it. I'm going to stretch out my butt. My glutes are feeling real tight right now. High knee. Open. Ankle up. Down and back. I think that's eight. High knee. Open. Ankle up. Down and back. That's nine. One last one. High knee. Open. Ankle up. Down and back. That's 10. That is our hip cars. I don't know if I say this aloud to you guys, but whenever the weekend is over, I get really happy because it gives me a whole bunch of days to rest and recover a little bit more. When we do the weekend lives, the Saturday morning, Sunday morning, Saturday sorry, Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon, Sunday morning, Sunday afternoon. Those 4 lives are killer because I get so sore afterwards. And we also have the one the night before on Friday night. So right, we have like 49 hours where we do 5 lives. There's like one on average every 10 hours, and it's a lot. So when we finally get out of the weekend, my hips start to recover and it feels so much better. But I'm still kind of sore. All right, we're gonna move on into our reverse hip curls. For the most part, they're the same. We're doing the same types of movements, and they're gonna look a little bit like this. We're bringing the leg down and back, flex the hamstrings, flex the glutes for the stretch right here. We're gonna lift that leg to the side as high as we can. We're gonna rotate the ankle up. And we're gonna rotate the ankle down, and we're gonna bring the knee forward. Feel free to hold on to the wall for a little bit of support, a little bit of balance, and we're ready to begin. Stand up nice and straight. Keep that core nice and tight, and let's go back. Side, ankle up, ankle down, knee, that's one, back, side, ankle up, ankle down, knee, that's two, back, side, ankle up, ankle down, knee, that's three. I got a big comment over here I'm seeing over on YouTube. I'll look at that in a second. Knee, that's four, back, side, ankle up, ankle down, knee, that's five, back, side, ankle up, ankle down, knee, that's six, back, side, ankle up, ankle down, knee, that's seven, back, side, ankle up, ankle down, knee, that's eight, back, side, ankle up, ankle down, knee, that's nine. We got one last one, back, side, ankle up, ankle down, knee. Whew. That is 10 hip curls. Oh, we're gonna do the final leg. Let's do it. Breathe. Keep that core nice and tight, and let's begin. We're gonna like that. Lift to the side, ankle up, ankle down, knee. Try your best to keep your hips more or less stable so they're not swinging all over the place. It's gonna be hard. You're gonna really want to, especially when you're trying to lift your leg as high as possible or open it as wide as possible. But try your best. All right. Back, side, ankle up, ankle down, knee. That's two. Back, side, ankle up, ankle down, knee. That's three. Back, side, ankle up, ankle down, knee. That's four. Whew. Six more. Back, side, ankle up, ankle down, knee. That's five. Back, side, ankle up, ankle down, knee. That's six. Back, side, ankle up, ankle down, knee. That's seven. Back, side, ankle up, ankle down, knee. That's eight. Two more. Back, side, ankle up, ankle down, knee. That's nine. Last one. Back, side. Really lift and rotate. Ankle up, ankle down, knee. That is 10 hip cars going forward, 10 hip cars going backwards on each leg for a total of 40. Let me take a quick look. Keisha on YouTube says, hello, my first workout with you. I have hip dysplasia since having my son, but I'm determined to get my middle and side splits at the ripe age of 37. Amazing. That's so awesome. Welcome, Keisha. Feel free to keep on shooting questions, comments, ideas into the chat, and I'll do my best to get to them. Most of the time, I leave the Q&A towards the end, so I get through most of the live for our regulars as fast as we can. But today I happen to be standing a little closer to the phone, so maybe I'll see it, maybe I won't. And then I'll always come back at the end to review stuff, especially on YouTube. TikTok has been sort of hiding and deleting old comments, so I can't see them. I can get over to a computer and scroll through and see them through another way. So we'll see what happens at the end when we do good. Okay, cool. Let's go. We're gonna move on into our second warm-up exercise. What it is we're gonna fold and work on our hamstrings. All right. We're gonna bring our belly button down towards the ground. Breathe. Fold. And we're gonna try and relax our back a little bit. If you have sciatica, I don't know if bending and relaxing is gonna help you very much, but I'm not an expert. So if you have been told that just chilling and relaxing is not good for your spine, maybe don't do that. But for everybody else, if you have tight-ish muscles and you're leaning forward and you're going, oh, and relaxing, and that's good for you, keep doing it. All right, next, we're going to add a little bit of movement. We're going to bend one knee, we're going to straighten out the other. We're going to bring our belly button down towards the ground, like so. From here, we're going to switch back and forth. Switch, and switch, and switch, and switch. Keep on going. Keep on focusing on bringing that belly button down towards the ground. And breathe. There should be no holding of the breath anywhere in this whole entire show, because when you're holding your breath, there's just no way you can be relaxing. All right? It's pretty much just not how it works. So, and stretching is relaxing your muscles. That's basically what is happening. If your muscles are super tense, it is highly unlikely they're going to get into a nice and long position, because they're going to be contracting and they're going to be short, right? All right. What else we got? We've done this for a little bit now. I think it's time to wrap up. So really focus on bringing that belly button down just a little bit deeper. Feel that hamstring stretch building. We're going to go for 5 more. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. I feel like I shouldn't say 5 more because there's 2 legs, so it seems like we're always leaving one out. So from now on, I'll say 6 more. And that is our second warm-up exercise. We're going to move on to our third warm-up exercise. It is the thoracic rotation. We're going to get back into the same position we were in. One leg is bent, one leg is straight, our belly button is folded down. But instead of just going back and forth like this, we're going to add a little bit of rotation. What that looks like is we're going to take the arm from the bent leg side. We're going to reach across to the straight leg. We're going to push off against the shin bone, just above the ankle, not at the knee, not at the ankle, just above, somewhere in between. And we're going to push and rotate. Stick your other arm up into the air, rotate your neck, look at that arm, get that nice rotation in your spine and in your neck. And I want you to breathe. Inhale, exhale. See if you can reach a little further when you exhale. That is half a rep. Give me a second, I'm going to adjust these glasses. And I'm going to take the little clip off of this because the furry ball is really irritating my eyes. Sorry for the YouTube people for listening to all the sound of that microphone. Alright, other side. This leg's bent. This leg is straight. This mic isn't working anyway. Alright, I'm taking it off. Now it won't be in my peripheral vision. Alright, this leg is bent. This leg is straight. This arm, the bent arm, is reaching across the body to the straight leg side. And we're pushing against that shin to rotate. Rotate, 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 rotate. Rotate, 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 rotate. Breathe. And that is officially 1 rep. We're doing 5 of these in total. So let's continue. Bent leg, straight leg. Bent arm, straight leg. Open, 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 open. Look at the hand. Rotate the neck. Breathe. Reach. Breathe and reach again. That is 2. Other side. Breathe and reach. That is officially 2 on both sides. You got 3 more to do. All right. Bent leg, straight leg. Bent arm, straight leg. Reach, 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 reach. Look at the hand. Rotate the neck. Breathe and reach further. Reach on that exhale. Do 2 if you like. And other side. Whew. Have we done 2 already, or is this our 3rd, or we finished our 3rd already? This is our 4th. I think it's our 3rd. And that is 3. 2 more. Bent leg, straight leg. Bent arm, straight leg. Open, 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 open. Reach. Breathe. That's 4. And that's 4 again. 1. Last one. Bent leg, straight leg. Bent arm, straight leg. Reach, 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 reach. Rotate the neck, looking at the hand. Breathe and exhale. Oh, that's 5. Last one, other side. And we are done. That is some thoracic rotation. Your shoulders are probably a little bit tired. These are technically called your delts, but most people call them shoulders. And if they are, that's okay. You probably don't do this much stuff other than alive for your delts. Next, we're going to move on into our 4th and final warm-up exercise. It's called the Cossack switch. It looks a little bit like this. You don't have to join in immediately. we'll break it down a little bit. It looks like this. So we're going to try and drop into a squat on one leg and a side split on the other. Then we're going to scoot our butts over to the other side. We're going to sink into the other side. We're going to breathe. We're going to exhale. I'm going to try and get a little bit deeper into the stretch. Then we're going to power through. Come on back to the other side and do the same thing. We're going to breathe and try to get a little bit deeper. For most of us, our knees, our ankles, our hips, not going to be ready for that. And so we're going to pre-stretch out some of those joints, pre-warm up those joints, warm up those joints, pre-warm up those joints, warm up those joints a little bit so that we're prepared for the cossack switches. All right. What I want you to do is from a standing position, drop into something that looks like a deepish squat. All right, like you're about to pick up a toddler off the floor or something. And what I want you to do is focus on bringing your chest down towards your knees. All right. And if your heels come off the ground, that is totally okay. In fact, we want it. We want to feel a nice stretch in your Achilles tendon and in your calves. All right. And the way you get that nice strong Achilles tendon stretch is to bring your knees and your toesies close together. So if you're on your heels, you're off your heels, you're on your toes, you're doing it. All right. As soon as you're comfortable here and you're feeling all right, I want you to add a little bit of motion. Because when we start swinging from side to side, it's not really swinging. When we start shifting our weight from side to side, your ankles, your knees, your hips will be doing a lot of work. So we can start warming up those muscles, warming up those joints right away. And if you want to make it fun, you can make it for a little dance. You can push one knee forward, you can pull it back, you can push the other knee forward, you can pull it back, you can switch the knee that is going forward. You can bring one leg out, bring both legs out, bring them together, and just mess all around. Maybe come on to your tippy toes even more on one leg, a little less on the other. Come on up and down. If any of this causes you discomfort, feel free to stop that move and try something else. All right. Next, we're going to add a little bit more movement and scoot until we get to a position where we can stick our hands down into the ground. All right. From here, we're going to stand. No, we're not. We're going to extend one leg out to this side and prepare to get this leg down so that you're kind of standing-ish. What we want to focus on is getting this heel down, because when your feet are flat, you're going to be a little bit more stable. All right. Next, we want to get into a nice deep squat, wherever it is for you. If you can't get very deep, you're not very flexible, it's one of your first times on the show, that's absolutely fine. If this is as deep as you can get, great. It's all part of the process. If you're a little bit more flexible, you can go a little bit deeper or deeper or deeper or deeper. Get to however deep as you can while keeping your heel down on the ground. All right. I'm going to scoot back a little bit because I'm going to start moving. All right. From here, once you're in your lowest spot, we're going to try and move our butt over to the other side. And if you're able to move because you have enough control and strength, great. If you need a little bit of help, feel free to put your hands down and help waddle yourself over to the other side. Once you're at the other side, I want you to inhale and exhale and see if you can sink a little bit deeper into the stretch. Feel free to use your hands the whole time. So you go, let out all that air and sink a little bit deeper. Then come on back to the other side. You don't have to sink every time. You don't have to go and let out all of your air and all of that tension. But I want you to try it occasionally. When you're feeling comfortable, when you're feeling good, see if you can sink a little bit deeper into the stretch. All right? That's it. That's the whole thing. Let's go. Walk your hands across. Get to the other side. Come on back. 1. Across and back. That's 2. Across and back. That's 3. If you're feeling strong, you don't need to use your hands. Feel free to skip the hands and continue. That's 4. Across and back. If you're feeling a little bit of pressure in the inside of your knees, getting a little uncomfortable, feel free to, instead of just pushing your way across real low, come up a little bit, come across, and then sink into that stretch. That's 6. Up, across, and down, and up, across, and down. That's 7. If you want, you can start adding other cool things for funsies. All right. If you want, you can do a full squat instead of coming from side to side. That's 8. And you can treat that as a break. You can treat that as an extension of your warm up, and you can just do whatever you want at this point because you know what it is that we're doing. As long as you're hitting these low stretched out points where you're in that deep squat, you're in that side split, you're building up some strength in between. Feel free to add in other stuff to make it fun. All right, that I believe is 10 reps, and that is our warm up. We are done with the first half ish, kind of our life. If you're new to the show and you're like, wait, what the heck? That was just the warm up. That was crazy. Don't worry. What we've done so far is get our muscles warmed up so that we can get to the stretching portion of the show. This is a side splits and hip mobility stretching live, and we do this every day to build consistency, to build a little bit of community, and to make the suffering we're about to go through a little bit more fun, a little bit more entertaining, a little bit easier to help us stay consistent. So if you like the show so far, make sure you hit follow, hit subscribe, and keep coming back. We're live every single day at 9 p.m. Eastern. If you are not in an Eastern time zone, you have no idea what I'm talking about. The show started 27 minutes ago, and we basically do this every single day. The warm up is definitely not easy, but we need to get you ready for the stretches. All right, it's time. Let's do this. The first stretch is the hamstring stretch. And the way we're going to set it up is with one knee down on the ground, one leg extended in the front, folding our belly button down to the thigh. All right. And once you are here, we're ready to begin. I recommend that you grab a little bit of a cushion for that knee. Doesn't have to be fancy, doesn't have to be some special tool. If you have a dog bed, couch cushion, decorative pillow, flip flops that you don't care about, sneakers that you care about even less, anything with a little bit of padding, that will work. I have some foam gym floor stuff, and I'm going to use that. All right. Again, you don't need anything special for this. It could even be an old stuffed animal that your dog ripped up. Just crumple it back up and stick it under your knee. Right? Next, if your cushion is big enough, stick both knees down and try to stand up nice and straight and nice and tall. What I want you to focus on is maintaining your hips in this very neutral, relaxed position. All right? Because when we do the next step, which is extend that leg out, I don't want you to do this and start trying to do a front split. Right? The reason why we don't want that is because you're probably going to leave one hip behind over here, one hip is going to be way far over there, your whole body starts twisting, and now all of these different muscles are in some version of a stretch. You're going to feel in your hamstrings, you're going to feel in your hip, your body is rotating. Depending on other things, you might be stiff and tight everywhere else. That's too many things at once. We're focusing on one stretch at a time. That is this hamstring. All right. So I want you to keep your square hips like so. Almost imagine that you're sucking your leg into your belly, and that is how we're starting our first stretch. I want you to fold the belly button down towards that leg. If you need a little bit of assistance with balance, feel free to widen your stance a little bit. And then we're ready to begin. I want you to inhale and exhale and fold. Nice and gentle, wherever you can get. Once your hamstrings are getting tight, you're feeling a little uncomfortable, we're going to focus on breathing. All right? I just want you to take some nice deep breaths and relax. Let that air out of your lungs and see if you can fold just a little bit deeper. All right? Inhale. Exhale. We're trying to relax the toes, the feet, the calves, the hamstrings, the glutes, the low back, and sink a little bit deeper into the stretch. Now that we have hung out here for a little bit, we've tried to breathe, we're going to pick up the intensity a little bit. All right? What I want you to do is take a really big breath in on the inhale, and then we're going to slowly exhale for a long time. And during that exhale, I want you to try your best to fold your belly button down to the leg. All right? We're going to get started right now. Inhale. Slow exhale. Fold. Whew. That is us getting a little bit deeper into our stretch. Your hamstring stretch is probably feeling a lot more intense now. That's normal. That's okay. Breathe. Relax onto that leg. Let the hamstrings try their best to relax. Calves, toes, feet, glutes, low back. Just breathe the best that you can and chill. And once you've gotten a little bit more comfortable in this position, we're going to do one more inhale, exhale, fold. That's the really intense one. All right, big inhale. Exhale and fold. Whew, that is our setup. We're going to get into this position and stay in this position for about 30 seconds, and then we'll be ready to switch to the next leg. Let's go 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12. Keep breathing. Do not hold your breath. Keep on trying to relax. If your hamstrings are feeling really intense right now, you can stick your fingers into that muscle and sort of just massage them. You don't have to have any particular technique. Just poke and prod and manipulate, and that will distract your brain from the tight sensation and make it focus on the pokey your leg sensation. All right, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. That is it. That is our hamstring stretch part one. If that looked really crazy, if you were pushing really hard because you saw what I was doing, you thought that was what you had to do, please don't feel that kind of pressure. All right. I've been doing this show for something like 500 days, and I've had a lot of time to slowly build up my flexibility. So take our starting positions, take the directions that we're moving in, and apply that to yourself. You don't have to hit the same positions that I'm in. And if you're really flexible, you're going even further than me, then you can ignore all this. But for people who are coming in for the first time, if you're like, damn, this guy's bringing his belly button down to his thighs, it's crazy. Don't feel any pressure. This show is about consistency, and it's as much about my consistency as it is about your consistency. I show up every day, and I'm trying to do my best to get my side splits. All right, doing the same thing as you guys are. We're doing this together. All right, switching to the other side. I'm already folded forward because I kind of forgot all the other steps. But hips together, extend the leg out in front, pull that leg in, fold the belly button down. All right. From here, widen that stance a little bit if you need to for balance, and breathe. We're not gonna spend as much time in between the multiple positions that we get into. We're gonna start breathing real soon. All right. We're gonna do the big inhale, the exhale and fold right now. Let's go. Big inhale. Exhale and fold. 30. Nope, no, we're not. JK, we're gonna breathe, we're gonna relax, we're gonna massage our leg, and then we're gonna do one more big inhale, exhale, fold, and then we'll be 30, 29, 28, all that stuff. Relax your toes, relax your feet, relax your calves, relax your hamstrings, relax your glutes, relax your low back. Try to drape your body over that leg. If right now you're feeling a whole bunch of tension in the back of your neck, in your upper back, in your mid back, because you're trying to smash your face into your knee, you're working too hard. This stretch is about your belly button coming down, your hips folded, and everything else that you do that's extra. That's stretching out your upper back, that's stretching out your neck. That's not actually working on your hamstrings. So you cannot do that. All right? Chill. Relax. Is the knee supposed to tingle? If it's a gentle tingle, then it might just be a light stretch and it should be fine. But if you're feeling mild discomfort and it doesn't feel very good, feel free to give it a slight bend. When you bend it, it will take a lot of pressure off of that knee because your knee is not locked out, and it will also take a lot of pressure off of that hamstring stretch. When you take pressure off that hamstring stretch, I want you to double down and focus on bringing your belly button to that leg. I want you to focus on bringing that chest down to that thigh, and then getting as compact as you can so that you're getting the most out of this hamstring stretch while your leg is bent, and then you can slowly straighten out your leg afterwards, right? If your knee is already feeling uncomfortable, if your knee is feeling unhappy, feel free to leave the knee straightening part to the very, 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 very end. And if you can get your chest down all the way, you can get to a much deeper, more intense stretch before you straighten out your leg. Cool? Oh man, I did that too hard. My hips are cramping. Whew. All right, where are we at? We got one last inhale, exhale, fold. Let's do this. Inhale, exhale, and fold. Folded. Relax toes, feet, calves. Bend the knee if you need to. Hamstrings, glutes, low back. Stick your fingers into your hamstrings to help distract your brain from how uncomfortable this might be. And breathe. 30 seconds. 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16. A trick that you can do is to sit your butt back towards your heel on the kneeling leg, and that will help make things a little bit easier on you. 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Keep going. Almost done. Keep breathing. Don't hold your breath. 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. That's it. We're done. Oh, that's our hamstring stretch. Whew. Feeling like that was a lot. That's normal. That was a really intense hamstring stretch. We spent a bunch of time in it. And hopefully the takeaway that you got from this is if you spend some time, you breathe, you relax, make a little bit of effort, you fold, you relax, you breathe, you can get into a much deeper stretch than you ever thought possible. A lot of people don't do any sort of warm-up. They just do a quick thing here and there. And sometimes taking a little bit of time, doing a little bit of warm-up makes a huge difference. So next time you go find something crazy on Instagram while you're scrolling, and you're like, I can do that, I'm gonna try it. Please just take like 2 minutes, warm up, fold, stretch, get your muscles prepared. It doesn't have to be actual stretching. You can just do jumping jacks. That's probably going to be more effective anyway. And you should definitely warm up before you go do cool stuff, because you'll be able to do the cool stuff even better. All right, where are we going with this? We're moving on to our second stretch. The second stretch is the butterfly stretch. I'm already basically in position. What I want you to do at home is to rest your butt, your low back, your shoulders, your head up against a wall. All right? The reason for this wall is because we're going to push our bodies into it when we get into a deeper version of the stretch. And having the wall here is going to make it easier to support us and keep us sitting upright and not flopping over and falling all over the place. All right? From here, we're grabbing our feet, we're pulling them together, we're pulling them into the groin area. The way you stretch out the groin in the butterfly stretch is by bringing your knees down into the ground. What I want you to do is try your best to use your outer thigh muscles, and I want you to use your glutes to almost pull your legs down towards the ground the best that you can. If you're new to the live and you're like, I have no idea what muscles you're talking about, how does this work, what's happening, I don't think it's working, don't worry about the details. Just focus on 2 things. Are your knees going down a little bit into the ground? If they're going down, you're using the right muscles. Next, if you're feeling the stretch here in the inner thighs get a little bit more intense, you're using the right muscles, and that's perfect. We're going to move on. We're going to take our hands, we're going to apply a little bit of pressure on the inside of our knees. Not on the outside, just inside a little bit, a couple inches, all right? And when you push down with your arms, you feel a bit of pressure in the back of your head and in your shoulders. That's because your arms are pushing your legs down, but your shoulders are connected to your back, and your back is also getting pushed into the wall. This is why we're leaning against the wall. So that sensation in the back of your head, that's normal. All right? We're holding this for 30 seconds. 30, 29, 28, and I want you to continue to breathe. 27, 26, 25. When you exhale, I want you to see if you can push your legs down a little bit harder. 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. That's it. That's the whole stretch. Hopefully, you've brought your knees down a little closer to the ground. If you haven't, but you're feeling a really intense stretch in the groin, that counts too. Oh, let your hands go. Relax for a second. If your wrists are super tired right now, give them a little shake. Treat them like little T-Rex arms, getting a little dangle, dangle, shake, shake. And I want you to try your best to flap the wings of your butterfly. All right. If your legs are struggling to come up and down, feel free to give them a little shake and go, hey, hey, wake up. Don't make my luck bad. Let's go. We got stuff to do. And do the same on the other side. Hey, hey, wake up. Don't make me look bad. We got stuff to do. And once you've aggressively shaken out your legs, they should have woken up a little bit and feel a little bit easier to flap. All right. Once your legs are good, we're going to move on into our third stretch. This is called the standing pancake, and it is quite possibly the hardest stretch in the whole entire show. And that is because we combine a whole bunch of muscles together into one stretch. Standing pancake looks a little bit like this. You can join in as we do them. Open up your legs, nice and wide. If you're feeling a pinching sensation here at the hips, that's typically your thigh bone and your hip bone smashing into each other. That is bad. We don't want that. So bring your legs in a little closer together. When you do that, the pain should go away at some point, and once that pain is gone, we're ready to fold. Focus on the belly button. Fold forward, and this is our starting position. From the side, it looks a little bit like this. Fold, 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 fold. Fold some more, and boom, ta-da, we're here. In the pancake, the goal is to fold the upper body in between the legs, something like this. Whee! Oh, yeah, that's about as far as I can go. It's a really hard stretch, so we're going to use gravity to help us out as much as possible. No! I'm sorry, that must have sounded awful and super loud. From here, what I want you to do is try to keep your upper body as close to horizontal as possible. That is the angle where you'll feel the most pressure from gravity pulling you down. If you want to make this feel more intense, you can extend your arms up in front of you so your biceps are by your ears, and when you exhale next, gravity will pull you a little bit deeper. All right? If you're a real masochist, feel free to hold on to something and help use those things to bring you a little bit deeper into the stretch. That and how much you do is completely up to you. If it ever gets too intense, you can always pull your legs back. Pull your arms back. You can hug yourself. You can even put your hands down to give yourself a little bit of support to bring you out of the stretch. All right. Next, you got all the information to fold. Let's get ready to go. If you want, you can try your best to open up your legs a little bit wider. If you're going to extend your arms out in front of you, you can also stick your hips back a little bit. And with that, fold your belly button down and down and down. Breathe. Exhale and fold and exhale and fold and exhale and fold. And once you're as low as you can, it's time to begin. 30 seconds. Let's go. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20. If you can't hear me breathing, you should be breathing. 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13. Feel free to adjust your weight, adjust your legs, do a little wiggle here and there. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Put your hands down. Oh, come out of that stretch. That's our pancake. We have done the hardest stretch in the show. Now, if your legs are feeling quite weak, you should probably start trying to wiggle your toes and your ankles closer and closer in towards each other. And you don't have to use your legs very much. You just have to use your ankles a little bit. Oh, slowly, 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 toes and ankles and toes and ankles and toes and ankles and toes and ankles and toes and ankles until you have your legs back together. All right? Push off those thighs. Come on back into standing nice and slow. And we are out of the standing pancake. The standing pancake is really hard because we're doing two really intense stretches at the same time. One is happening in the inner thighs, right? That's what happens when our legs are wide. And the other is happening because we're folding really far forward. And that is the hamstring stretch you are feeling. And It doesn't matter if your legs are wide when you fold, or if your legs are together and you're just touching your toes. As long as your hips are coming down like this, you're getting to a hamstring stretch, and your hamstrings are going to be unhappy. So that's why we spend a lot of time doing the elephant walk. That's why we spend a lot of time doing the hamstring stretch, so that we can prepare you for the pancake and for you to be able to focus at least a little bit more on the inner thigh stretch. All right, we're going to move on into something a little gentler. It is our fourth stretch. It is called the pigeon. All right, you got the option actually between the pigeon and the figure four stretch. I'm just personally going to demonstrate the pigeon because yesterday I think we did the figure four. Both stretches have the same fundamentals. All right, they look a little like this. We're going to bring one ankle across our body. We're going to grab that ankle. We're going to bring it up to our belly button, and then we're going to bring our belly button down to the leg, like so. From here, you're going to feel a stretch, or we want you to feel a stretch here in the outside of that glute. It is, I mean, if you were standing, you might call this your hip, but what we're stretching is the glute muscle. All right. You might also feel it in your hamstrings. You might also feel it sort of on the outside of the thigh. You might also feel something when you're folding forward, and those will be relatively normal. All right. Let's get into the pigeon. The pigeon, like I said, has us in this position, and it has us on the floor. Something like this. Ooh. What we want to do when we're here, while this leg is across, is try to bring the midline of our body down towards the leg. That's it. That's the whole thing. All right? What I want you to do is to find a comfortable position and start folding forward. You don't have to worry about this leg if you don't want to. You can have it off to the side. You can have it bent off to the side. If you want, you can also have it extending back behind you. If you've watched some yoga videos and you've seen cool people do this position and you want to, we'll walk through some quick tips for that. All right. One of the things is when you are trying to stand a little bit more upright in this position, preparing for this stretch, you're going to feel a whole bunch of pressure in this back knee. You're going to feel a whole bunch of stress in the hip right here. If you want to make it less intense, all you have to do is lean forward. When your body is in this, straight line, as if you were just standing or if you were laying down, there's going to be way less pressure on that hip, and therefore there's going to be less pressure on that knee. If that is really hard for you because you can't fold forward, we got another option, and that is to elevate the front leg. All right. When you elevate the front leg, your hips, unless you're really, 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 really flexible, are also going to come up a little bit. When the hips come up, this back leg obviously has a lot more room, and the knee is not jamming deep into the ground anymore. So you got space to figure out your stretch. You don't have to just use a stool. If you are at home, feel free to use a couch. Feel free to use a coffee table. Feel free to use a chair. Feel free to use your bed even. The higher up it is, the more or the less hip mobility you need in that back leg to get into that stretch. And you should definitely play with it to figure out what works for you. All right, that is our pigeon tips. Now let's get into it. Once again, this leg is across our body. We're trying to get the middle line down, and I want you to aim for something between your knee and your ankle bone, right in the middle, to bring that line to. Boom. That's our stretch. All right, let's set it up. Leg is across. We're folding forward. We're trying to keep our hips low, and we do not want to get into a situation where our head is down and our butt is up. All right? We want to keep our hips low and bring our chest down afterwards. Whew. From here, extend that leg back if you can, and we're ready to breathe. I want you to, on every exhale, be loud and obnoxious if you need to, and turn yourself into jelly. Deflate. Sink a little bit deeper into that stretch. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24. If all of a sudden the stretch feels like it got a lot easier, oftentimes it's because your heel is slipping and it's coming towards your groin. What I want you to do is make sure your leg stays in position. Or if you want to make it harder, push your foot towards your face and your hamstrings will start crying. All right? 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. That is our pigeon. That's one side. We gotta do the other side. Let's go swing that other leg around. And keep the hips low. Bring the belly button down. Extend the leg back if you can, if you want to. And breathe. Bring that belly button down towards the ground. Full. Let your body drape over onto the floor. 30 seconds. Let's go. 29, 28, 27. If suddenly it feels super easy, feel free to push your foot towards your face, and that will make it way harder. 25, 24, 23, 22, 21. Remember, on the exhale, really let your belly button sink a little deeper to the ground. 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14. Experiment with straightening out your back and seeing how that impacts the intensity of that stretch in the hip. 12, 11, or get lazy and just flop your face to the ground. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. Just keep breathing. Keep dropping those belly buttons. Keep on folding. 2, 1, 0. That is our pigeon stretch. With that, we have done 4 of our 5 stretches. If you're new to the show and you're just feeling like we're doing some stretches, boy, do I have news for you. We are doing 45 to 60 minutes of live side split and hip mobility stretching. And usually I demonstrate a little bit better. Side split stretching. We do this every single day to practice consistency, to build a little bit of community, to make the suffering we're about to do, or we have been doing, a little bit more fun, but there's more suffering to come. So if you like the show so far, make sure to hit subscribe, make sure to hit follow, and make sure to keep coming back. We do this live every single day, and we started 53 minutes ago. So that's the time you should keep coming back for. All right? It's time for some side splits. If you don't know, because you're new to the show, we do 3 rounds of 30 seconds of side splits. And in between each round, we get up, we try to shake out our bodies, try to loosen up our muscles so that we can get into a deeper second stretch and a deeper third stretch. That means we got some side splits to do. If you've never done one before, don't worry. If you never even tried to get into position before, don't worry. We're going to break down into little steps that you can implement one at a time until you find where you get stuck, where you are ready to call it quits for the day. All right? You don't have to keep pushing. You don't have to go as deep as I will be demonstrating. If you're really flexible and you want to go deeper, totally cool. But don't feel pressure to do exactly as I do. Just listen to the instructions and work your way towards them. All right? With that, I think it's time to begin. Let's go. Oh! What I want you to do is stick your butt onto a wall first. All right? Your wall is going to be your best friend. Next, we're going to take one step in front of that wall. It should be about 8 to 12 inches in front, so that if you kind of stick your butt back, you can lean into the wall and just chill. All right? Next, we're going to open up our legs, and I'm going to demonstrate real quick why we're using this wall and what it's going to be used for. When we're doing the side splits, so you don't have to be doing this part. When we're doing the side splits, you're going to have your hands on the ground or your hands on something. You're going to be moving, you're going to be shaking, you're going to be wiggling, you're going to be trying to get a little bit deeper into the stretch. At some point, you'll realize that if you stick your butt back a little bit, you can get a little bit lower to the ground. And at some point, you might also get into a situation where you're going, oh no, I've got too far back. I'm falling, and then you'll fall. If you have the wall right behind you, your butt will gently land against the wall. Everything will be cool, everything will be chill, and you can just do a little hip thrust, and then you're back into your side split. All right? That's what the wall is for, is to keep your butt safe. Later, we'll also use it as like a little bit of a stool, a little bit of support to make the stretch a little easier on yourselves, and it becomes a tool. But if you don't use a wall, you're kind of just doing it from out here, and you're like, I'm trying to get deeper into the stretch. You're wiggling, you're squeezing, you're trying to sink a little deeper, and you go, oh no! Oh. And you fall backwards, and you hurt your butt. That would be bad. That would be so sad, because I already warned you that you might fall backwards. So stand in front of the wall, 8 to 12 inches. Don't get hurt, so that you can come back and you can practice a little bit more consistency. All right? Let's go. Oh, come on back into standing, grunt, groan, make as many sound effects as you need to. I can't hear you anyway, so I won't judge. All right. Open up those legs, nice and wide. If you are feeling some pinching pain at the hips, you've gone too far. You can bring your legs back in a little bit. All right. Next, we're going to bring our belly button down towards the ground. Whee! We're folded. If this looks like the setup for the standing pancake, that is because so far it's been the exact same. Next, I want you to put your hands on the ground for a little bit of support. If you cannot reach the ground, or if you just plain don't want to, feel free to elevate your hands. I'm using a stool. It's like 12 bucks off Amazon, I think. Well, when I bought it, it was 12 bucks off Amazon. It's been like a long time, so maybe inflation doesn't quite work that way anymore. But anything that you can put your weight into in front of you is going to work. A coffee table, some yoga blocks, flip your garbage can over. That might work if you have a good garbage can. All right. Next, what are we doing? We are rotating our legs back and out of the way so that our thigh bones don't smash into our hip bones ever again. When we talked about this position where we're standing and we're feeling that pinching pain in the hips, that is your thigh bone smashing into your hip bone, and you're not going to get any further without a ton more pain because your bones are smashing into each other, right? But the part of the bone that smashes, we can actually just rotate out of the way and they don't smash into each other anymore. Crazy how that works. So what we want to do is rotate the bones so that they can't smash into each other so you can get into your side splits a lot more comfortably. All right? What we're going to do is take a look at our legs right now. Our feet should be flat on the ground, our toes are pointing forward, and our knees are kind of pointing forward, right? What we want is to rotate the leg so that the knees are pointing up, the toes are pointing up, and the heels are down. And we want to do that on both legs. Feel free to adjust your hand support for that. So, once again, heels down, toes up, knees up on both sides. And we are in our side split, all right? If this is your first time, congratulations. And also, it's only going to get more intense from here. So if you ever need to stop, feel free to pause and just hold it where you're at. All right? For the rest of us, let's go. Wiggle to the right, wiggle to the left. Push each leg out just a little bit and breathe. This is about relaxation. You're not going to feel very relaxed, but I promise this is about relaxation and letting your muscles chill out so you can sink a little bit deeper into the stretch. Okay? Now, because I told you to start 8 to 12 inches in front of the wall, hopefully you can walk your hands back towards your hips, like so, and let your butt lean back and rest against the wall. Feel free to treat it as a stool of its own and just take a little bit of pressure off. Chill. Breathe. If the tops of your knees are pointing in the same direction as the top of your head, you're holding your side split position and you're doing fine. All right. It also means you can start relaxing some of your muscles. Your toes can relax. Your feet can relax. You don't have to flex your foot so the toes are pointing up into the sky anymore. You can relax your calves. You can relax your quads, your glutes, your hamstrings if those will relax, and you can breathe. Inhale. Exhale. Relax. And we're about ready to begin. We're going to hold this for 30 seconds. 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. That's it. Walk your hands forward. Come on out of that stretch. Walk, 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 walk. Bring your legs in underneath you, and you can come into some sort of kneeling position. Just rest your legs and breathe. Grunt, groan, make as many sound effects as you need to, and we are going to get ready to come up into standing and shake out our legs, reduce some tension. All right? Slowly come on back up into standing. This first go around is going to be the hardest, and try to balance most of your weight into one leg. start shaking out the ankle on the other. All right, nice and gentle, nice and chill. We're just shaking, 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 shaking. Light wiggle. If you're feeling comfortable, you've been doing a lot of these, feel free to wiggle a little bit more intensely, but unless you've got the practice, you don't have to go hard. All right, you don't have to go wee and start flopping your legs everywhere. I'll probably just make your ankle not happy, and we don't want that. Once you've shaken out your ankle a little bit, we're gonna switch to the other side. Let's go. The reason why we're doing the little ankle shakes for all our newbies is because you got lots of muscles right above your ankles that control those movements, right? Flex the foot, point the toe, circles, all that stuff. When your ankle is just going to all those places because you're shaking it out, all the muscles above your ankle have to be relaxed enough to allow that to happen. And that is what we want to make sure is happening. That just because we're shaking a little bit, those muscles are getting relaxed. And once those are feeling a little bit better, you can put your feet down, you can do a little knee bend and go, not bad, feels a little bit better. And we're going to move on into our hips, right? What I want you to do is really put all your weight into one leg. Now, big toe of the other leg is down on the ground. Your knee is slightly bent, and we're going to rotate the hip. Sorry, we're going to rotate the leg in the hip socket, all right? It's going to look like this. We're going to bring the knee in, bring the leg out, bring the knee in, out. The only thing that's moving right now, other than my arm, to point to things, is this thigh bone in the hip socket. The chest is staying the same place. The hips themselves are not moving. It's just this thigh bone. And using your muscles in the hips to bring the leg in and out and in and out and in and out. If you're brand new to the life, you don't have very much strength or control yet, feel free to stick with this variation of the movement for the rest of this show until you're ready to move on to the next thing. Right? When you get more comfortable with this, you can pick up the speed, you can pick up the tempo, you can go a little bit harder, you can go a little bit faster, you can hit a new rhythm, you can go boom, 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 boom. You can treat it like a dance move. Alright? Next, we're gonna do the other side. All your weight is a moment. Big toe is down on the other side. We're rotating in, out, 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 in, out. Take it as slow as you need to. You don't have to rush this. This is about building control and building strength and having a lot of fun the whole entire time. All right? I'm trying to decide if I'm going to jump into more or if we're going to just do more side splits. I think we're going to do more side splits. Let's get into side split number 2. We're going to do 8 to 12 inches in front of the wall, so 1.5 foot steps for most people. And we're going to open up those legs, make sure the hips do not hurt. If they do, stop, bring your legs in just a little bit, and prepare to fold. I kind of need to sneeze, so it will come if it comes, and I have warned you. Next, we are going to bring our belly buttons down towards the ground. Fold, 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 fold some more, fold again, and bring that belly button down. Once you're here, put your hands down if you want. If you don't want to, or you can't, put your hands down on something stable. Coffee table, stool, chair, yoga blocks, anything that is stable and can support your weight and won't disintegrate. That is good for me, and that should be good for you. All right, from here, we're going to rotate our legs. Right now, our knees are pointing forward, our toes are pointing forward. We're rotating them back 90 degrees, and it looks like this. Boom, heels down, toes up, knees down, knees up. Boom, heels down, toes up, knees up. And we're ready to get into some side splits. Sink a little bit deeper into the stretch. Now that you're a little bit more relaxed and you had that first side split under your belt, you might just find that your legs drift out a little bit deeper right away. Awesome. As soon as that ends and you start getting stuck again, feel free to get back into that wiggle from the left to right, to left, to right. Walk your hands back towards your hip. Rest your butt against the wall. Relax the toes, relax the feet, relax the calves. Do a little wiggle. Breathe. Relax the hamstrings, relax the glutes, relax the low back. Inhale. Exhale. Sink a little bit deeper into the stretch. Once you're here, we're going to get into variation 2 of our side split stretch. Instead of sitting on your butts and sitting a little bit straight up and feeling the stretch mostly in your hamstring with our butt against the wall, we're going to walk our hands forward a little bit like we're about to do a push-up. All right? When you're in this position, your head should be kind of pointing up at an angle, up into the ceiling, and your knees should have come with you and are also kind of pointing up into the ceiling at an angle. All right? when you're in this position, you're going to feel more of a stretch in your inner thighs. You need a combination of both, the inner thighs and the hamstrings, to get your side split. So now we're doing the inner thighs. All right? Add another little wiggle. Let's see if we can get just a little bit deeper. 30 seconds. Let's go. 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Keep breathing. Don't hold your breath. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. That's it. Walk your hands forward a little bit more. Take your time. Bring your legs underneath you. Whew. And that is our second side split. Breathe, chill, relax for a second, and slowly come back into standing. I gotta solve a puzzle here on TikTok because it thinks I'm a bot. And give me a second. My thumbs are shaking. And I failed on that first try. Hold on, one more. Come on, come on, come on. And I failed on the second try. Hold on, I'm gonna squat. I'm gonna hold the phone so it doesn't shake. Boom! Third time's a charm. Alright, let's shake out our legs. Again, we're starting with the ankles. Nice and gentle. Shake, 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 shake. A little forward, a little side to side. You don't have to go intense. This is just about relaxation. Alright? As you get more comfortable with this, as you find that you are a little bit more relaxed, you can pick up the intensity and shake a little bit harder. Does not have to happen today. Does not have to happen this week. As you get more comfortable, see what remains comfortable. All right, switch to the other side. Shake out that ankle, nice and gentle to start. Add a little bit more, add a little bit more, add a little bit more. If it ever feels like it's too intense, don't add any more. Dial it back. This is about relaxation. All right, if you're going really hard, something feels really wrong, you're not going to be relaxed, and that's not going to help you with the next stretch. So, no need to rush it. All we care about is teaching your brain to chill out. And we're just shaking out our ankles. All right. Next, hopefully your legs are moving a little bit better, and we're ready to move on into our hips. Okay. What I want you to do is balance all of your weight into one leg. Big toe is down on the other leg. We'll rotate the leg in, out, 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 in, out. Go a little faster. Go a little bit more intense. Do the other side. In, out, in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out. As you get more skilled, as you get more comfortable with this, I want you to turn it into something more fun. All right. I want you to try to do some stanky leg. Bring that leg in. Rotate into that other position where you're bringing the out. Push that leg back out. Bring the leg in. Push it out. Bring it in. Push it out. Bring it in. Push it out. Bring it in. Push it out. Make it fun. Make it graceful. Have fun with it. This is why we train hip open, right? So that we can move better, so we can do cool things. So put it to work in little, meaningful, cute, fun ways, and give it purpose right now. You don't have your side splits yet, and that's okay. You can do some stanky leg. All right. Whew. Let's get that into our third and final side split. Let's go. We're standing 8 to 12 inches in front of the wall. We're opening up the legs nice and wide. We're chilling. We're breathing. We're relaxing. If you don't have any pain in the hips, you're ready to continue. If your hips are hurting, bring your legs back in just a little bit till that pain goes away, and let's fold belly button down, hands down. If the hands don't want to be down or they can't be down, feel free to elevate your hands. Stool, coffee table, chair, anything that will support your weight is good. From here, we're going to rotate our legs so that our heels are down and our toes are pointing up. It looks a little bit like this. Boom. Heels are down, toes are up, knees are pointing up. This rotates the thigh bone so that it does not smash into parts of the hip bone, so that nothing but your muscles are holding you back. All right? Now, breathe, chill, see if you can sink a little bit deeper into your stretch. And when you're ready, add a little wiggle to the right, wiggle to the left, wiggle to the right, wiggle to the left, and rest your butt against the wall and walk your hands back to the wall so that you can rest your butt to the wall. When you're here, use that wall as support. Breathe, relax, drift down. Again, if your knees are pointing in the same direction as the top of your head, you're probably holding the side split position. And you can start chilling out the muscles. Relax the toes, relax the feet, relax the calves, relax the glutes, low back, hamstrings, and sink into that stretch. Oh, man, it's so far away. And sink into that stretch. Whenever I do the left-right wiggle, I'm also making a lot of facial expressions and moves like ear muscles or something that loosens the earbud. So if you ever wonder why sometimes in certain moves the earbud just comes flying out, that's why. On some days when I'm extra stoic, I guess I don't make enough facial expressions and the ears, like the earbuds, stay. I don't, I don't know what it is. Okay, once you're here, we're just chilling and breathing, and we got options. If you want, you can focus on that inner thigh stretch. You can go forward into that push-up position. You can stay here and sit down and focus on the stretch that's going to feel it more in your hamstrings. And if you prefer, you can do whichever one you want, really. I'm going to do a slightly different version called a pancake, where I'm going to fold in between my legs because I think that's what's holding me back. You guys can pick whichever one you like, and we're going to start counting in about 3 seconds. 3, 2, 1, 30, 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24. If you're wondering why I'm doing a slightly different stretch, it is because I've been doing this show for a really long time. And I have been really stalling on the progress for a while. I believe that the thing I need to focus on is the pancake. So I'm trying to incorporate a little bit more pancake into our show, but not for you, for me. If you want to be doing pancake, this is the third optional one, and you can absolutely do the pancake. But if you're not stalling, if you're still making a lot of progress and you're feeling good about it, you don't have to get into anything else. You can keep doing what you were doing. All right? Whew, I forgot to count. 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9. Keep breathing. Don't hold your breath. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Oh, that is our stretch. Oh, come on out. Walk your hands forward. Oh, bring your legs together underneath you. Oh, and that is our third and final side split and or pancake. We're going to come back this day and we're going to shake our legs one last time. We're going to show you one more advanced version of that thigh shakeout. That's not the stanky leg. And then we'll do some joint checks and we'll wrap up with some Q&A. All right, I see there's a bunch of comments over here on YouTube, so I'm going to take a quick look and see if there's anything I could think about while I do Q&A, or while I do the other stuff. I couldn't go as low on my right side with my pigeon stretch. Well, I couldn't hold it for the full 30 seconds, but on my second attempt, my third attempt, I fell, but I like this pancake stretch. Awesome. Okay. If this is your first time, honestly, if you pulled off all of the stretches, you're already in a really good spot. It's totally normal for one leg to be less flexible than the other, just like how you always use one leg to like jump, right? Or one leg to be the first leg that takes a step every single time. It's totally normal for your legs to be a little bit different. And let's shake out our legs. We're shaking out with our ankles. Shake, 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 shake. Wiggle, 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 wiggle. Flop, 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 flop. Relax them. Regardless of how much time you spent on this live, I want you to remember that this is about relaxing the leg muscles. All right? There isn't an exact, precise form. There isn't a perfect way to do this. We shake out the ankles because it's easy to use that as a way to teach relaxation, for you to feel different muscles start to relax. And if you want to start shaking out the whole leg, you should go, that's totally fine. If that works for you and you're feeling better after the shake, then you've skipped all the steps and you're way beyond everybody else, right? That's the goal. Next, we're gonna get into the hips. Are you waiting one leg? Big toe is down. We're doing the rotation, all right? This is what we're starting with. As you get stronger, as you get faster, as you get more control, you can pick up the intensity and you can start playing around with it. Do some staying in leg, rotate the legs in and out, and just play with that hip mobility. Make use of it, make it graceful, have real control over that movement. And then, if you're ready for more, we got a super advanced version. What I want you to do is stick all of your weight into that one leg. Try to straighten out the other leg. Push it off to the side so you got this nice diagonal. Big toe is down again. And what we want to do is start shaking that leg fast. Fast, 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 fast. There's almost no weight in this leg. It can come up at any time, right? And when your leg is not holding any weight, but it's also rotating and shaking really fast, your thigh muscles should be flopping all over the place, looking like they're made of jello. And that is 3. This is completely arbitrary. I made up the levels. Next, we gotta do the other side. This leg is standing, big toe is down. We're doing the in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out. Stanky leg. And let's go level 3. Straighten out the leg. Shake a little bit harder. Shake, 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 shake your thighs up. Make it jello. Flop, 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 and hopefully your legs are feeling a little bit more relaxed. It is very common, at least for me, that that thigh shake, my thighs get a little bit itchy afterwards. I don't know if it's just the pant fabric rubbing against my thighs because everything is moving at its own pace. But if your thighs are itchy, it's probably normal. All right, let's go. We're gonna move on into our joint checks. Joint checks are real simple. We're just making sure everything is moving okay. After shaking out your legs super aggressively, it probably is. But we're going to take it nice and slow and do some hip circles right now. You might feel it in your low back when you bend over. You might feel that really intense stretch in your hips and in your obliques on the side. Maybe you want to support your low back and stick your hips out in front. Take it nice and slow. Work your way through. We did a whole bunch of stuff for our hips, and it is quite possible that they don't like us very much right now. So figure out what feels uncomfortable and give it some extra love. Tends to be the case for me, at least, that after the side splits, the left and right side of my hips feel a little tight. So I like to spend a little bit of time just leaning in the opposite direction. Whew. If at some point you switch sides, switch the direction that you're rotating in, that's probably good. It's probably not the end of the world if you did it. Just, we're going to move on to the next thing. We're going to do a quick high knee. If your knees come up, you don't have to worry about it. You keep going. Next, we're going to place our feet underneath our hips. All right? Not too close, not together, not too wide. Just right underneath our hips. Pretty normal, pretty neutral, and pretty relaxed. All right? From here, we're going to pop into a squat. From the side, I want it to look a little bit like this. I want you to stick your butt back, and I want you to try to fold your chest down to your thighs. All right? When you're here, I want you to try your best to push your knees a little bit forward so that your whole body weight is kind of leaning a little bit forward. When you're in this position, you might feel that you're tipping a little bit, and that's what we want. All right? The reason why we want that is because we want your toes to be working real hard, gripping into the floor, supporting your body weight. The more you lean, the more your toes have to work. If you lean back a little bit less, your toes don't have to work, and you can even lift your toes off the ground. Right? But as you lean forward more, your toes have no choice but to grip the floor to hold you, to keep you from falling over. All right? That's what we want. When your toes are working real hard, the arch of your foot should be activating and supporting as well. And as you progressively push those knees forward, you're going to feel a stretch in your Achilles tendon. You're going to feel it in your calves. You can poke them to double check that they're nice and tense right now. And your quads are probably crying, telling you to stop. So let's wrap this up. Stick your hands down on the ground if you need a little bit of support with balance. But otherwise, we're doing some calf raises from here. All right? Keep leaning forward. Come up on your toesies. Come on down. Come on up. Come on down. Do as many as you'd like. But I do want you to try to lift your heels straight up. All right? So I want you to focus your weight in between your big toe and your index toe. And I want you to stick your heels straight up and down and up and down. Feel free to slow it down if you really want to torture your muscles. That's cool with me. I don't mind. And when you've done enough of those, your quads are tired, your heels or ankles, whatever is tired, you're probably good to go. If you just did even 75, 80% of what I just demonstrated, chances are your toes are working really well with your feet, working well with your heels and ankles and calves and Achilles tendon, with your knees, with your tibialis muscles in the front, in that shin, with your quads, with your hips, with your low back. All those muscles, all those joints, all those tendons working well together. is a good sign that you're probably good to go do whatever else you gotta do for the rest of the day. All right, that is our live. If you somehow just joining in, we just wrapped up. Wow, super long live. 81 minutes of live side split stretching and hip mobility work. We do this every single day to practice consistency because you can have the best plan ever, but if you can't follow it, it's not the best plan for you. So show up and showing up is all that we really care about. This live is designed to be, for the most part, recoverable if you just do one a day. It's not so intense that you'll be super sore or beat up. Uh, and hopefully that leads you to building a little bit of consistency. Once you got the consistency, once it's a part of your life, once you got a nice schedule and you figured out how to make it, you can do whatever you want. The world's your oyster. I don't know if that expression makes sense right there in that sentence. But until then, feel free to keep on practicing consistency. Feel free to keep on coming back and practicing a little bit of consistency with us, with a community of other weirdos trying to get a little bit deeper into our side splits, into our stretches. All right? Again, we do this live every single day at 9 p.m. Eastern. If you're not in the Eastern time zone, we started an hour and 22 minutes ago, 82 minutes ago. Whatever time that is for you, 82 minutes ago, that's our regular standard time. Just keep on coming back during that time. And if you've liked this show, please hit follow, please hit subscribe, because I also make other content. All right, some of the other content I make is around trying to integrate a little bit of fitness into your regular life. Not trying to separate fitness into a different period of your life, but adding a little bit throughout. If you're waiting for your ramen to soak in hot water until it turns into something edible, that is 2-3 minutes that you can be using to move a little bit. All right. That if you're waiting for your microwave to finish microwaving your lunch, that's 2 minutes you can add to make your hips feel a little bit better, for you to pick up your energy, pick up your heart rate, get you feeling a little bit better before you eat your lunch. All right. Those are lots of little tiny portions of time that you can spend making yourself feel a little better. Most people, I promise, don't regret spending a little bit of time doing a tiny bit of exercise. Usually it helps you feel better and feels better to have a little bit of movement done. So keep that in mind and make sure to hit follow and hit subscribe so you can see those short videos that I make. I also make some other content around calisthenic skills because I'm trying to rebuild my own strength alongside this flexibility thing that I do. And one of the cool things that I'm doing is making tutorials for a whole bunch of new skills. And one of the videos that just came out was about taking a plank and turning that into a supercharged move for working on full body tension. In calisthenics, especially in cool skills, full body tension is super important because it helps you stay stiff. And when you're stiff, it's easier to control, it's easier to balance. You need that for skills such as the elbow lever. That looks like this. You turn yourself into a full plank, and from that plank, you can manipulate, you can swing around, you can dance, you can shift, and you can play around. Elbow levers are just an example of one of many levers that you can do. You might have seen the really cool front levers and back levers where somebody hangs off a pull-up bar and they pull themselves to horizontal, or even handstands, right? Holding your body straight up and down. That is a version of full body tension, controlling all of the muscles in your body so you're locked into a nice intense position, and then it's easier to lean. If you're loose and floppy and your legs just start going all over the place, you're not going to be able to hold tension. It's going to throw your balance way off, right? Is there anything else I need to talk about? I have some other tutorials in the world of skills. One of them is the frog stand that looks a little bit like this, and its sibling, the crow stand, which looks a little bit like this, where you rest your knees on your triceps. And again, those are all skills you can group together into new, even cooler skills. So you should go check those out. The videos are available over on YouTube, and the username is @splitsontheside. At is the symbol at, it's not part of the actual username. Cool? All right. I think it's time to redo some Q&A. Oh. Get in my stool. Bring my butt over to the phones, over to the cameras, so I can look at what's going on. Welsh Boy UK says, I will do a follow along in this tomorrow. Awesome. Welcome, and I'll see you tomorrow. Let's see. Stretching 3, 4 times a week enough to get the splits. 4 times is probably too much if you're a beginner. Uh, it depends on how intense you're doing the stretches. If you're going really hard and you're giving it 100%, 3 or 4 times is plenty, 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 plenty. I run this show every single day of the week because at this point it's to support everybody else who's coming in new, right? You definitely don't have to come 5, 6, 7 times a week. I'm doing this show 9 times a week. Uh, on weekends, you probably don't know this, Keisha. It is 9 a.m. and 9 p.m. So we do doubles on Saturday and Sundays. Um, there is some science out there that suggests if you spend about 5 minutes per week in a stretch position, that is enough stimulation and stress on the muscles to get a little bit more flexibility, to get a little length in that stretch. So, the principles of this show is more or less based on that idea. If you're getting 4 workouts in a week, you'll have hit five, no problem. 5 minutes, no problem. There are 100%, most definitely ways to build up flexibility a little bit faster. A lot of those ways are going to be a lot more intense and a lot more demanding on your muscles because they're going to be a combination of contracting and relaxing. And that contraction is basically just a muscle pump, right? It's very intense and you'll be very, very sore during those. So if you ever end up doing a more intense version of stretching, not stuff that I usually cover in our daily live, then you'll definitely probably want to dial back the intensity back down to maybe even 3 or maybe 2 times a week, depending on how well you recover and how intense each of those training sessions get. But for this show, this live in this format, you might be a little bit sore the first week, but in general, the workout should not be so intense that you can't do it 5 times a week. You don't have to, but you should usually be able to recover for it. It depends a little bit on how well you're sleeping, how well you're eating, and how much other exercise that you're doing throughout the week. But if this is your only thing, and this is how you're staying consistent, this is how you're committing to some fitness every day, then you should be fine to do more rather than less. Cool. At the end of the day, again, this show is all about practicing consistency, right? For most of us, it's not that bad to do one really intense day. It gets much harder to take a day off and then come back for a second day, and then keep doing that for multiple weeks, right? Most of us have probably done some sort of diet, some sort of challenge, some sort of fitness thing, and we survive like 2 weeks or 3 weeks out of the month, or maybe even a whole month and a half, and then all of a sudden we drop off or we stop looking at it for like 6 more months, right? The reason why this show exists is because that story has been my side split story for the first 15 years that I've wanted side splits. And I decided that instead of doing the hardcore, intense, like the best workout, the perfect workout, the fastest way to get in 1 month, whatever, hotkey buzzwords over on YouTube, I decided that I'm going to focus on doing something very doable, something I can do every single day so that I can build a very consistent habit. Just this time is the time to do this thing every single day. And so far, it seems to be working because this is day like 500, and I have been practicing a ton of consistency. So, if that sounds like something you need, if that sounds like a program that makes sense for you, this is free. This is live every single day, and you can keep coming back. All right. All right. Let's see. Keisha says, I'm sadly an inflexible martial artist that does Taekwondo 3 times a week and weight training once a week. So this channel is guys. Wow. Okay. You're doing a lot. And uh, if you're already doing that much, it will overlap with the other things that you're doing, right? You can definitely focus on taking and building strength in those crazy kicks in Taekwondo positions, and that will apply to your flexibility, right? So doing a little bit of flexibility and then focusing more on strengthening positions when you're doing your kicks, or picking specific exercises in weight training that require a little bit more range of motion. Those things all add up. So you don't need to do this live every single day, but absolutely that's a lot of movement. That's a lot of exercise. So you're doing a lot. Don't feel a lot of pressure to push really hard. All right. Cool Cali chick over on TikTok says, "Is heat beforehand good? Maybe a hot shower or heat bath." Yeah, we spend a lot of time doing warm up. It's easily 20-25 minutes of our show. When I am in the groove and I'm not rambling a little bit or too much, the live can be about an hour and 5 minutes instead of an hour and 20 something like it was today. Um, and we still spend like 20 something minutes on warm up, right? And the warm up, I don't know if you were here for it, Cold County Chick, is like a lot of movement. We do stuff called hip cars in the beginning, where we go through as much range of motion in that hip joint as possible. We do 40 reps of these, 20 on each leg going forward and back. We do a whole bunch of elephant walks, which is basically get into a hamstring stretch and then moving your hamstrings for probably a minute or two. I don't actually know. I don't count. I just talk at the camera until I'm like, it's about time. Let's move on. We do some thoracic rotation for our spine, and we do a whole bunch of Cossack switches, which is basically a really deep squat and a side split all at the same time, working on the muscles that go in between and go from side to side. Right. So we do a lot of warm up, and if you want to be even more warmed up, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. It would be great. Um, if you're already warmed up, it'll make your hip cars the first thing that would do even better for you, right? The hip cars do a lot of the heavy lifting in our warm up, and they get your hips going right at the very beginning. But if you're already warmed up, if you're ready to go for those hip cars, you'll just be building up even more strength, right? The purpose of the hip cars is to use your own muscles to lift your legs into higher and higher and higher and higher positions and wider and more open positions, and then what you're doing is building strength. And if you're warmed up and you're ready to go, you'll be able to lift higher, you'll be able to hold higher, and you'll be able to get stronger in those crazier range of motions even faster. So there's definitely no reason not to do it. It's just about how much time you want to spend ahead of time to prepare. Because this live already runs an hour easily, right? All right. Welsh says, I used to be flexible when I was younger from Taekwondo, but stiff as a board now. Hey, that happens. That happens, and that's normal. That's 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 probably like 90% of athletes' life stories. They're like, oh man, when I did this, I used to be da 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 da, and now I'm less da 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 da. Ibro says, please, there is pain on my right hip whenever I sit. Oof, that is not good. When did the pain start? Did it start after doing the lives? Is it from something else? What's up, Ibro? And welcome back, Ibro. It's good to see you. Do you prefer Ebro or Ibro? Okay, cool. Cali Chick says, okay, nice. I joined late this time. We'll try to join for the warm up next time. Awesome. Amazing. Yeah, the live started an hour and 34 minutes ago. That's the standard time that we always start at. It's 9 p.m. Eastern time, if that helps. And please do come back. And also hit follow and subscribe. All those things. All right, I'm going to scroll up. Che, good to see you. Welcome, welcome. And I'm going to see how much of the chat on TikTok we still have left. I said this early at the very beginning, but for some reason TikTok has been cutting off old messages and I can't scroll very far back anymore. Literally Blossom says, I have been very inconsistent with joining. That's okay. I'm here every day, and when you're ready to be more consistent, I'm going to be here. So don't worry about it. Appreciate the days that you do show up and be excited that you did. That's the only way you're gonna feel better. If you're feeling guilty every time you come, it's not gonna make you feel any better about showing up the next day. You're just gonna keep feeling guilty. All right? You're like, oh man, I missed like 3 or 4 of these. I guess I should show up. You don't need any more negativity. It's really hard enough to be flexible. It's really hard enough to stretch. It's already hard enough to be active. It's already hard enough to do all the things that you got to do. So try your best to think of it as, oh, I crushed it today. And I'm so glad the live popped up while I was scrolling or something. All right. Susanna says, "Oh man, I don't have that level of flexibility." You don't. You absolutely don't need that level of flexibility. I've been doing this show for so many days, 500 days, pretty much every single day for a year and a half now. And a lot of the flexibility that I currently have has come from doing this live every single day. I would argue that 500 days is a really long time. I wouldn't say that's a fast way to progress, but I would say that I have more consistency and more ability to stay consistent than I've ever had in the entirety of my life in like any other category of life. I don't know where the sentence is going. And I think now today I could definitely be more consistent about a more intense workout. But the way that this live works and what I'm trying to support and what I'm trying to help with is helping other people find that first couple of months of really solid consistency so that they can level up and do all the other cool things that they want to do. Right. Um, I mentioned this a little bit before briefly, but I want to do the side splits for like 15 years. I'd probably do like a total of 6 days a year and make absolutely zero progress. I'd start with like some crazy workouts in January at the beginning of the year. Then I'd get sore, and then I'd forget about it until like June. Then I'd feel bad, feel guilty, and I'd do a couple more, get really stiff and sore again, and then I'd wait until January again the next year, right? Like that was the that was how it used to work for me. And at some point I was like, no, I have to design the workout so that I actually do it. And if the workout is the best way to build fitness or build the best way to build flexibility, but I can't follow it, and I am too sore or too uncomfortable, and I just can't do it for any reason, it's not gonna work. And that's why this show exists live at the same time every single day, so that when that inspiration hits for you one day, you'll go, oh, I can do this. And then hopefully you join in and we work on our side splits and our hip mobility and all the good stuff, right? You don't actually need side splits. Very, very few people need their side splits. You're just taking your hip mobility to a crazy level, and it's like a really cool goal. Um, for most people, if your hip mobility was just a little bit better, that'd probably improve your life in a lot of different ways. Getting up and off the ground, sitting down more comfortably in chairs, getting in and out of cars more comfortably, sitting for longer periods of times on airplanes. Those are all super, super useful bonuses that come from being able to move a little bit better. All right. All right. What else we got? My back said, "Whoa, Nelly," says Wise Girl. I don't know when this comment came in. I'm trying to imagine when we would have been doing a back related stretch. If this came in super early, maybe during the thoracic rotations. I don't know if you're still on. I know we're dropping down. We got 14 people left in the live. So, oh wait, there's also all the comments. I think I've seen everything. I'm gonna scroll back down real quick. The phone's gonna shake real hard because I'm scrolling so fast. Okay, let's see. Do 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 do. Oh, Eyebrow says, please, there's pain in my right hip, and he's asking. I'm trying to ask if these stretches can help to fix it. Okay. Um, it's possible, but it's probably not likely. I think a lot of the time, if you're experiencing pain in the hip, there is probably some muscle imbalance. And just stretching might give you some temporary relief, but it will not solve the core of your problem. That imbalance typically implies that some muscles are working really hard and other muscles are not working hard enough. And the muscles that are working really hard are working really, 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 really hard to compensate for the muscles that aren't working hard enough. And maybe the muscle that isn't working hard enough you injured at some point and then it just never got strong again, so it never picked up the slack. The muscle that took over the slack just kept on working harder and harder and harder, and now it's pulling your hip in a weird way. And that is very typical. So if you only stretch, you can potentially stretch and relax those tight muscles, but it doesn't solve the problem that your weaker muscle is not strong enough to take care of itself and support the body. Your overworked muscle is going to continue to overwork. So it might help a little bit temporarily for relief as you relax, as you get control over the different hip muscles. But the stretches themselves might not be that useful. The warm up exercises that we do might be a little bit more useful. For the most part, if you can do the Cossack switch, I think this gives you the most bang for the buck. The Cossack switch is this one, where you're basically doing a squat on one leg, you're doing a side split on the other leg, and you're bringing your hips to the other side. right? You don't have to be this deep. It could look like this for you, right? Side to side. Another position you can try to see if it helps is the horse stance, which looks a little bit like this. Your legs are open, nice and wide. Our Taekwondo people probably can do this better than me. Your feet in martial arts, your feet, your toes point forward. For most people, it probably doesn't actually matter that much. You can point your toes out the same direction as your knees. And you're trying to bring your hips as low as you can, and you're trying to sit upright as much as you can and trying to stay nice and strong in this position. Your inner thigh muscles, your hamstrings, a whole bunch of hip muscles are going to go crazy and they'll freak out immediately. If you focus on that, is likely a whole bunch of those muscles will start kicking in. And if something immediately starts cramping, that's probably a muscle you want to work on. If you want to work on the core stance and you want to make it a little bit easier for yourself, you can definitely do this with your butt against the wall and slowly lean forward and avoid the wall as you get deeper and stronger. Having your butt against the wall gives you a little bit more stability. I know you're on a ship, I think, right, Ebro? In the middle of the ocean. So having something to lean against will definitely help you stay a little bit more stable, probably. And leaning against something will help. Whew. Ugh, that is most of the comments, I think. Clea says makes perfect sense. Awesome. And Ebro says okay, noted. Is there anything else I got for you, Ebro? No, I think that's it. Yeah, especially if you don't know what the source of your pain is going to be really hard to, at least over the internet, figure out what's going on. And it's definitely not my field of expertise. So even if you like, we have one-on-one time, I probably wouldn't be able to solve your problem. I would imagine that it is, like I said, it's been hurting for a while or been a bit uncomfortable. Some of your muscles are working super hard to compensate. The muscles that don't want to be working because of whatever reason are going to work even less because the other muscles are compensating, and that imbalance is going to only make things worse. And once certain muscles in your hip are working real hard, sometimes it will impact the muscles and the joints down the chain. So if your hips get a little bit out of alignment, maybe your knee will also get pulled in a little bit to help compensate. Maybe your ankle will shift the opposite direction to help balance out the shift in the knee. And now your whole entire leg starts exhibiting weird symptoms. The thing that you're having in your hip might not even have started in your hip. Maybe it started in like your side muscle. And part of that is your side is clenching real hard and is lifting your hip up, right? So I don't know the answer. I'm definitely not enough of an expert to give you more concrete help, but it is often the case that where you're feeling pain is not actually the source of your issue. And that is probably a really frustrating, painful thing to hear. But I hope you're now prepared for finding the right answer. Good luck. All right. What else we got? What else we got? What else we got? Keisha says, I'm old now. Don't worry about that. You got plenty of. I don't know if you've ever seen some of those crazy videos of like Asian grannies in the park who are like 70 years old just doing Tai Chi. And there's like an ocean of them all doing like Tai Chi or like dancing in unison. If you haven't, you should just throw it on Google and you'll see that like every public park in the like big cities have just people doing outdoorsy stuff. And all it shows is if you keep on moving and you have cool stuff to do at night with a whole bunch of other old people, makes you feel very, 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 very young. So where am I going with this? I don't know. Maybe have some friends, build a community, hang out with people, have fun, and have cool hobbies, maybe, and that will keep you young. It sounds like you're doing lots of cool stuff. You're doing taekwondo, weightlifting, and now you got side splits. So I don't think that is a concern for you, but all that stuff keeps you young. young. All right. Anyways, where am I going with this? I don't know. We got 13 people left on the TikTok. We have 5 over on YouTube. I think it is time for me to say goodbye because we are an hour and like 40 minutes deep into this show. Yep, we're about to hit 100 minutes. Thank you so much, guys, coming in, working on your side splits, working on your hip mobility, and practicing a little bit of consistency. We have been going for way too long. I've been talking for way too long. So I hope you had fun. I hope you're way relaxed now. You're feeling real good and you sleep well. I'll see you guys tomorrow again at 9 p.m. Eastern. And if you can, please go check out my other content. Hit follow, hit subscribe. I also have an Instagram account, and that is got the same username at splits on the side. So if you got some time and you're not going to bed yet, feel free to check that out. But don't stay up too long. Don't go doom scroll. That's not good. Go sleep. All right. I'll see you guys tomorrow.